Hey, let's see where this takes us. It's some sort of 420 colorful journey into sifting and traveling through frequencies and with the force. Trying to get you to feel the love. So let's light this up. Got my dear mask with the white dots on it for white dot lovers, and I got this magic. It's actually the yellow one sticking out, but it's just a sifting machine. If I spent the love on it and then hide it or play with it, or I could sift it into the joint and smoke it. So I'm having fun playing around with love. I got hypersensitive and I started feeling this love in the air, and I noticed that while listening to TV shows and by experimenting, often I'd be daydreaming, and then all of a sudden I would notice that I'm playing around with something unintentionally, but I'm actually affecting something else by moving or playing with the love I feel. And often I notice that if I don't feel it, I'm always a hair away from the love sensation, or sometimes it can be the temptation that feels a bit like that. It's some sort of a cool feeling that it was related to sex, because love does lead to sex, I guess, in some sort of way. But by listening to those TV shows and music, while music would kind of call upon me, and like you'd be daydreaming, and then all of a sudden it would turn your head, make you look at something, and you'd hear this part of the song all of a sudden that seems to be speaking to you. And then you notice that love, well, some people do feel it, and it was a lot of people turned evil and were using that power or the superpowers of the fuck button, the love switch. In a hypocritical and a treacherous way, because the king had won that way or something. I don't know, but from losing all the time, from swindlers and all that. So, and another thing I noticed is that people that spend time together cohabitate in one of those persons. One of those persons in the house is the father or the host, roommates or something, or is the dominant one. And he can affect, Well, they both the underdog and the overdog can affect one another, and the dominant one would be the white loving, white needing spirit that was most likely evil, with this domination problem, where it would have this compulsive need to dominate whatever scene they had in front of them, or a logo. What they really love is the white. They want to become the god of the t-shirt logo. They like logos, and they appropriate themselves those. And then that thing starts behaving like they would, or like their friends, their gang does. Because sometimes they need friends. They dispatch like a Trojan horse, and they take all corners and kind of corrupt the space that's often white into locking and becoming theirs, impregnated, stamped by their love and their spirit, kind of thing. But I noticed that often they'd be stuck somewhere like there, but they'd manage to affect you, what you tag and where you bring them, because it would travel through the host and through the host's memory. And they would have this program that would always dominate and never stop until it would reach the top all the time. And it was this kind of a permanent chess game. If you'd be a clairvoyant and or in contact with your inner self and your alpha brain state, which I think they say raise your frequency. So I think it's a higher frequency, the alpha brain state, where the magic happens and the telepathy. And some of them, those who do this sign, is probably because they hear a voice, and that's why they have those TV shows, The Voice. It's the cover, because they always cover. If you write energy balls, because you can throw balls telepathically. The songs throw balls all the time, and those are kind of kinks or knots in the dotic that travels inside of you that I feel, because I'm hypersensitive. I'm one. Music calls me the one sometimes. I don't know if I'm actually the one, but I overcame some pretty terrible rose kisses that were basically impossible to remove. And I don't know how I managed with music and dancing forever. One of them, it took me 4 days of spinning and doing the twist. When they say do the twist, that's how to remove roses, because it's a twist like a rose heart in the tape that has your instructions, that carries a whole bunch of bad instructions that makes you call all the wrong people just toxic people, and then all you meet all these prostitutes and dealers and whatever can help you destroy yourself. And then you're connecting to all those bad people. It changes your destiny. You start getting bad luck. Whatever you try, you have trouble doing, or there's something that makes you always try the wrong way. And then we start 6 or 7 times before you notice you're trying something that didn't work over and over again, because it's telling you to do it over again and again. So you redo it and redo it. And you know you're losing your time, but it's telling you so. So you have to do it. It's an order. If when they manage to make it there in your intimacy, you kind of, your subconscious mind obeys. If we manage to take that dominant thing out and the white dominance, and it turns to black, and the black dominates now. Well, the black would actually put their head on, kind of thing. Let them the controls the car or the love or the fuck switch or whatever, in order to know what they wanted, to be able to give them what they want. It's often it's because they're stuck there or there. They stay stuck. They fall in love. The love I feel if I stamp it on a picture or whatever's white starts belonging to one, two, three, four spirits, persons. What they really love is triangles because they want to be the one on the top. Because for them, it's a pyramid. So the one on the top can call himself God, because everybody below is in his reality, and he's pissing on all of them. That was the reality of the dollar bill and all that. And that changed with the metal invasion. The pyramid got flipped upside down. Even the Louvre has a upside down pyramid. A lot of people have the influence. Whoever has good values has some sort of influential stamping ability. You can. I won't start stamping words I shouldn't stamp, but there's multiple stamp sections, and one of them is the idiots, the cons or whatever. We call them cons in French because they're assholes, I guess, evil persons. They're all in this love that whenever I see a tip, if I kind of let myself go and watch the tip, I can't help feeling this love down here, this kind of horny feeling. It's kind of fun to rub on. Everybody looks for that. Fascism took that away. They would pretend it was this girl's love, and then she'd start feeling it, so she really think it's hers. And then, well, people say, oh, we won't bug her, we don't want to have sex with her, or blah, blah, blah. It was related to sex, and they would make you believe the host, the one that was holding you in his ring, dimensional ring. But if you fall in that hole and you pop back out, well, you just went through a dimension I created, so you're a fruit of my thought. Because everything around you that was in that ring is in that ring. That became your reality. So I basically become your master if you've been attracted in that hole. But sometimes it's good because in a symbiotic way, it's good because symbiosis, like the Spider-Man costume, they actually help each other. The host and the hosted or whatever, the squatter and the building both get, they both help each other out. They maintain something healthy, and they kind of almost depend on one another to maintain their quality of life because they're helping each other out and cohabitating. So that would be a way that each of their turn, they dominate one another in order to clean and to correct whatever they have been taught to do that's wrong by fascism. That was taking the love away, taking the prana, the chi, the way, the Tao, the beer away. That energy that is supposed to flow in all of us. This comes from the universe. Or colors have this tea kind of taste. If we sift through, because I'm sifting you through the red of my hat, and whenever these lights disappear, that you can feel the love, because the two bests are up here because they want to control the head, or they want to get to the overhead where the angels are. Oh, and then there's this one. Whenever I always play around with this. Also, I'm always hiding this corner. I don't really notice I'm doing so, but I'm always stretching it somehow. I'm trapping it in a wide zone, and then fooling it and pushing its love into a red or a yellow zone or onto spikes like here and there that will they'll poke two love or two places with love, bing, so that she'll unite them, she'll tie. That's how you do a tie. That's how you tie it up with pokey things. Or sometimes music will tie it up for you by speaking with you, because music has mantras that it programs you. Us metal lovers have this big bad werewolf that appears if we're in danger. We don't even notice we're being a big bad werewolf. Somebody can breathe somewhere, and it's probably the most dangerous person that all of a sudden becomes terrorized and does a heart attack. And I don't know what. We have this defense mechanism that comes from music. So listen to a lot of music and put love on the angels, and their wings are gonna direct your head. And then the tip of the wings, so they tie stuff or poke the love whenever it needs to be poked. That love is pretty cool, because whatever you say on that love or you stamp, that's why they go like that when they play music, is to give you the right note. So the atmosphere, the the mouth hole makes something appear. So the force. Do you see the atmosphere change, the air? Tips. Try staring on tips and raise your frequency. Go into alpha mode, or listen to metal, folk punk, marginal music, maybe some reggae, I'd figure, and look at the album art and try to not intentionally do nothing, kind of thing. So basically, you just look in the direction, being all kind of receptive to the music, in order to let your body move to the music, like Madonna says. Me, because I'm a host, there's this wired tape inside of me. The wires snap, and pointy things like that, when you travel through the colors and you depend on colors, when they snag these, they often break those chains, we call, or these kind of psychic cables that snap like popcorn when you hit some of these, or like this one there. Or it'll show you where the love is. You look at it, and on the tip, at the junction where the contrast is where you feel the love. So you kind of have to flatten the love. Sometimes the love is going to travel somewhere else, so you kind of got to fill that hole and try to level it all out. Because if it's a picture and it's someone, by putting your love on that person, you activate her picture, and her picture starts acting like she would. So it'll start to move in a really subtle way. But what pictures do for me is it always bends the picture like this, and in the slot between, like, it's like if I would push the painting back, and between would sift away or beer the energy, the prana energy. Pictures, people, bands, whatever, all, even things, statues, trees, whatever, if I stare at it, it'll become the spirit's gonna control it, and it's gonna start. This thing just moved up here, just went flop. Sometimes a part of the picture flops into place as if it's been replaced all of a sudden, and then you can't go back to in a certain direction because the cable snapped. When those cables snap, if it's the bad guy's cables, often that might mean that he won't be able to go back to where he was in your mind anymore again, because that cable was a marker for his trail. He would kind of slither through those cables into the position where he could command you, kind of thing. But when you snap the cables on those things, or on the metal logo, the logos, that's why they're all pointy and root looking kind of thing. It's because they snag on those. Whatever's pointy, the love jabs on it. And where the love goes, well, they actually automatically fall in love to whatever the love touched, starting with white. And then you look at old albums. I was listening to Discharge, and it had albums that were black and white, but when you looked at them carefully, it wasn't true black and true white. Both colors were off. The white was blackened and the black was whitened. As if it was to get both clans to be deprived of what they usually look for, which is white or black. That's why black, we stamp on the black all the time, and the colors will all evolve according to how we forced and corrected the love. It will correct what the colors do to your spirit when you sift on them, or when you drink it, when you breathe it, or when we sift you through red like this. Red or yellow. The yellow bar is gonna spin. No, that's you it's kind of a color therapy. So when you have the power, the force, when you feel the love, you can kind of grab it. You can even position objects really, really subtly. They will actually levitate and move a hair just for the lights to be properly aligned with your spirit or something, or where they want to go. They'll make you act. I actually see objects. They actually I can't move them a lot, but they are moving. They are hovering. And when I'm cooking, I notice that my waist is grabbing the pan, and it's turning it a bit, kind of to adjust something. But the objects all fall into place when you're somewhere for a while, because you're pushing love or something on them, so they're actually being embraced, and they lock into this balanced position where you feel comfort. You kind of lead on psychically on these lights and objects. The lights can hold you. They can place your head a certain way if they're in a certain direction, and you move the spoon. Whenever you start daydreaming, you won't be looking at the same place if you move the spoon, because the lights will direct. Because your host, the guy if you're a good person, you most likely will be a host, and some sort of spirit or someone is squatting inside of you, and often they'll have your initiative, and you'll be reacting according to what they would have done before you even think of doing what you would do. So that's why when you look at album art, don't try to do anything. Just look at the direction and concentrate on the music, and let it kind of impregnate you, and then see what flashes or attracts your attention first. And if is it blood? Is it red yellow, green? Is it a square, a circle, a triangle? Are you trying to dominate everything? Are you trying to become the eye of God at the top of the image? Are you trying to look like an animal? Are you trying to make up little faces with eyes everywhere? It's abstract. Are you trying to avoid certain colors? Or are you feeling love on this dot somewhere that's kind of you can't miss? Because often this album thing, well, the guy's mouth is a black square that's off, like italic, and that's where when you're moving, you feel the love is snagging on that darn square. Something's it's in its way. It's keeping them. They're snagging on it, or the corner's hurting them. And then those metal logos, well, all those spikes, when they get stuck in it, they kind of oblige them or make them behave a certain way. Otherwise, they get hurt. So they eventually start being more kind or not. So stop doing a certain thing, because in order to do it, they have to go over pain that they naturally avoid. So they'll never use that trail again because either the cables have been snapped, and that makes that he doesn't have the ability no more, doesn't remember how it's done, or no more instructions, or no more trail to get where he would do it, or the spell is broken because it broke all the links between the people that were maintaining the spell, their dynamic. His work was working, but who would answer when and do what, well, is all tied up a different way, and or messed up or snapped on those sewing breaker tying machines. So look at where you end up, and then if you feel the love, well, whatever is inside you will fall in love with whatever's white. And album art is always off. There's always something in there that's not normal to that dweller inside of you, that white spirit. So that dough inside of you, the tape where the instructions, the program is, that I feel like there's love in it, and it's kind of hoardy feeling, and it twists and twirls, and it's like this caramel stuff, and then you can musical poke parts of it up or down, and or it'll push you to finish a decent curve, and then to twist this way rather than that way. Music will all correct you when you fall into this trance. And it'll make you clean yourself out. And one thing it does is it shoots with the drum or guitar. You have to play the guitar. If you want to kiss them, you have to play the guitar. That means that you have to have your attention or your antenna plugged on the guitar. And you have to be loving the guitar. By loving the guitar, it casts a spell on evil dwellers. And it kisses. It's a kiss. A kiss is when you glue your love to somebody else's love. It's a kiss. But it's a sharing of abilities. Kisses used to be evil and organized crime related. They were called roses. Then they even had a war of roses and guns and roses. The roses are the spell part, and it's a bit, and it's a kind of gives you paranoia and psychosis. And there's a whole bunch of roses. Some of them are deadly, or most likely you will find a deadly path once you've been kissed a rose. You don't really notice your life changing, but after 2 years, you're a total waste. Kind of thing after what's been happening and the circumstance, and it totally destroys you. They take your kid. If you're a good night like me, you get tons of roses. As soon as you rise the rose, you're in big trouble. You get the COVID when you rose, and you got the crown. They send you a coronavirus. So now I would be sifting you. I'd be grabbing you and pushing you to the album art. And now you're in the album art. So you'd be picking, you'd be probably loving the whole thing to figure out what's there because you can't see it, or going through my eyes to look at different parts of it. Now, if you're evil, you most likely will get stuck in the palest section there is that you encounter. I don't know where the eyes start looking. I don't know if we look at the center of an image first, or what path we use when we look at an image. This one's to my left, so I obviously explore the image from the left. So here you'd be getting pink, then you'd be getting yellow here. And it would be the aborted probably logo because it's the palest, but it's yellow. And they don't like yellow because I think it takes away some of their evil powers that they used to overpower and dominate people. But it doesn't actually take powers away. It cleans the power out and it makes them behave a correct way, eliminating evil a bit. So if they're evil, they'll probably get stuck in there's these creatures on there, and some of them, this one there with the white eyes, where they probably get stuck, has been impaled, a spike coming out of its mouth. So I could put the love on that thing and make it become that. So it'll feel like something that's been impaled, that's bloody, and it might even taste the blood and this and that. The Cannibal Corpse album art is pretty neat for that because they end up eating guts, thinking they're eating pussy, or thinking they'll find love there to kiss you, but they actually, whatever is red where they usually hide is guts and putrid waste, and it's always a cannibalesque, evil, decapitating scene where they're being decapitated or something. So it does something to their mind. I don't know what, but being decapitated probably gives weird sequels to a mind, I guess. Because whatever's on the art, you can give to them. And usually music is according to the frequency it's giving them, is sifting them through color and frequency. So you look at what it wants. This one, I feel, well, the love snags on the hands, but it kind of goes, I think it's trying to dominate the whole picture by loving the whole thing. Then I end up on the hands. When it looks for hands, it's either pretending it wants to help or that it's telling you it needs help. His hands is for help. But usually looks for arms, diamonds, or triangles, or eyes. Because this evil creature has white eyes, so it would probably try to overpower that creature. So as soon as that would be done, the arms and legs of the creature will start moving according to what that spirit wants to show you on the image. Often it will show you somewhere it wants to get, or a place where it wants its friends to be, or something it needs, or something that's hurting them that they want you to correct by placing them somewhere else, or they think that they can become this predatory man-eating creature that's gonna eat and impale you. I guess I don't know, but it's pretty neat to travel an album art like that. This one's a dying fetus one. First thing I tend to notice is this knife blade looking thing in the middle. Then there's a, oh, it's a Spartan helmet. Then I see the helmet, but I didn't see it because it was a helmet. It's just because the rotation of my head took me crawling over that thing that was sticking out. It's like whatever sticks out, it's like you could kind of pretend you get stuck on it and wrap around it. When you're doing that, you're wrapping love around it also. So what you're doing is you're tying it to all these different corners and edges. They don't have to be existing things. Sometimes this light in the background, you can pretend it's this white spike in the foreground and hook them on it, even though it's a light that's between branches that comes from the background. You just, that's in the foreground and you're stuck on that and you ramp the love on it, and that's where they are. And see, I'm hiding this thing. I'm always hiding there. This, for sure there's someone on that corner. They want to take control of this. It's pretty white. There's a bit of gray. Some of them can deal with a bit of gray like that. But they want to take control of the whole square, to be the boss, and then migrate, and hop using the black guy's help or the host help to other white spots, and then to lock this star system up that'll corrupt the whole image and make them the master, kind of thing. So that's why I have these white things laying around. And then the mask here has white dots. See, that would be the 6 best white spirits available, would be those 6 dots. I think the 2 best are up here because they always want to get to your head. And then when the light disappears, you feel the love. Because something's in that light. Because when it disappears, or it migrates from one to another sometimes, I think I'm transferring them, but they sift a bit of red in traveling every time. While moving my head, those 2 white dots are smoking a red joint, kind of thing. Because I told my subconscious sift on whoever needs to be sifted through the color and frequency we need to get better, to heal, kind of thing, to give them what they want, the color they want. So if they want to remain white, we'll just hide a whole bunch of colors in there, and then clean their white out so they stop being evil hypocrites. So yeah, it was a Spartan skull. Then I noticed these, there's more white spots. Then there's going to be some sort of a white spot organization. And sometimes there's one looks for a white dot and the other one looks for a black dot. Because there's a good black area and there's a corrupted black area. And the one that looks for the black dot creates the corrupted black area, where they don't get affected or something special. And then whatever is small seems to attract your attention, whatever's some sort of pointy little spiky thing snags the love. And then you end up in this black hole surrounded with little spikes, trying to balance them out in order to see who's the dominant one and where that love comes from and where it's the strongest. So you balance that love feeling you get, and you often end up on this little tiny white dot that flashes a bit more that you missed at the beginning. That's the alpha male spirit that was actually stuck there. But from that tiny spot, it manages by affecting your perception and using you to control the whole image and to see the whole thing, because it needs you to see it or to see where the music put it, because that's where they're gonna end up. This is a black and white album, but it has a bright green uh, space around it. And it's this disgusting gore. I think they have intestines, and there's this those punk images with the spikes like this will actually hurt them. But when you get the cat eye, it's kind of when things go fuzzy a bit. Like here, see they're off focus, but you can kind of imagine a string here and put the love on it and rub the love there. So some of them will fall in love with this. Then you can kind of make them smoke that sifting stuff in these spikes. For some of them, these spikes will hurt them. They try to when you're looking and when you're loving all these spiky things, it's because it's trying to harm you, but you're actually getting a hard on. Well, not a hard on, but you're feeling the love, and they're trying to hurt you. So that's all what dwellers will do. That it's narcissistic occupation, and that will create mental illness and a whole bunch of stuff. So you have to be careful on what the usage of white, because all those piercings are actually jumpers, and they're actually stepping stones to travel from spot to spot in order to see. And they need the last thing you said. When you speak, you actually place them somewhere. You help them out because they're always stuck in this logo somewhere. So, or on this stud. That's why punks have studs. It's because every stud becomes one of them persons. So then you have to go through all of them to get to the punk's head. That's probably already dominated by whatever mohawk he has on his head. Well, he has those dominators using those spots already, so you can't dominate him. And plus, you have an army of evil white killing and serial killers that live, that protect, that act like a belt or an armor on his coat. So that was pretty much my lesson on album art. Try to surf that album art and look at where it takes you and see what it wants. And ask yourself, is it something you truly love, what you're looking at? Or is it something that would be useful for somebody with another plan? And you'd be surprised to see that sometimes you're loving stuff that is really not important for you, and that actually affects your living and your choices and what you see and your habits. But it doesn't come from you. It comes from these occupants and these dwellers. So try to check that out and look at the tips, the problems on the tip usually, and this tip, and this tip, and this post and stop stuff. So this is pretty much it for this video. So I'll tell you ta-ta and have a nice one, and try to surf album art. Yeah, and the dough, when you surf album art, there's always something off what the white doesn't want to be or doesn't want to sift or doesn't want to see or look at. Well, this dough gets all stiff in your head, and your head moves on its own, and it straightens it all out, because that dough's been played with by fascism, and it locked us into this dynamic that was destructive. So you have to use this album art, and when they put stars up there, it's because that's their favorite fans, dominating fans that don't harm them or allowed a spot within the stars around the main picture kind of thing. Because stars know that those white dots are actually people occupying those spots and wanting to be with you and be like you and wanting to be loved by you, even though they're evil. So careful what you use white for, and try to fuck the white thing and kiss. This is a unicorn kiss. So have fun and look at tips.